Well, hey, I'm Rebecca Folks, happy homemaker, mom to 4 busy kids, and online entrepreneur. I've spent over a decade in this space working with high-achieving, high-performing women who carry the weight of juggling all the things. After many ups and downs of creating balance between home life, work life, and a million kid activities too, I learned how to slow down to actually accomplish more of the important things. I believe in all the to-doing, there are deep spaces in women's hearts that are sacred to us. Conviction in our identity, hospitality around our tables, and that quiet strength that only comes when we lay our head down at night, confident we're doing a good job where it matters most. Consider this a melting pot of wisdom learned over the years. From homemaking and wellness to influencing and marketing, we're diving into the topics that have created more peace, more joy, and in the end, more margin in my business and my life. Welcome to Wide Open Spaces. Well, hey there, and welcome back to our Boss Babe series. And however you feel about the word Boss Babe, I have some feelings of my own. You know who I'm talking about. It's the women that are doing big things, both in the marketplace and I think too at home. They're high performers. So they're not just excelling in one area, they're excelling in multiple. And I just kind of wanted to bring some women of excellence on here this week because the women that we're talking to, they're talking to you about how they think this is hard. I think on social media, you see the perfectly curated, leisurely, maybe that doesn't look like people are working that much, but they don't think it's that hard, but they're still seeing tons of success and their children are perfectly dressed and all the things. And I just want you to hear from some, again, really successful people that I just respect and appreciate, especially the genuineness and the authenticity that comes along with their stories. And I think you are going to be encouraged too, especially my friend, Kathleen Weber. She owns a darling boutique. You want to go find it on Instagram. It's K.McCarthy. You can see the Instagram handle there in the show notes. But she's had this boutique for 10 years. It started off as a fashion truck that she was driving it all around. It came to Little Rock. I've gone to her store in Nashville. I love, love, love her story. I love her heart. I think you are going to too. Be encouraged here on Wide Open Spaces today. Well, yay. I am so excited about today's guest, who is a total throwback for me. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But today we have Kathleen Weber of K.McCarthy in Nashville, Tennessee, her darling boutique. And I'm so excited for y'all to hear from her and her story today. Thanks for coming on, Kathleen. So Kathleen and I actually went to high school together. And Kathleen, I was thinking about this morning. Our senior year, we were in, I think it was Miss Kid. It was a creative writing class, and it was mainly a bunch of girls. But there was this exercise, or we kind of did a writing assignment, and it was, imagine that it's 10 years from now. So it's been more, but imagine it's 10 years from then, and then kind of tell, and I feel like a lot of them were like poems, but tell about the classmates that are in this class 10 years out. And I was remembering this morning, especially this real cute girl, Kate Guerin, I'm especially remembering hers. And all of them would say, and Kathleen owns a store. Kathleen has, I just remember specifically that you and another girl in our class, Michelle, that y'all would be something in fashion and that y'all would be talking back and forth. And here you are with your store, which this week y'all are celebrating 10 years of K.McCarthy, which is a huge accomplishment, a huge just success story. It makes me just so excited for you. And I mean, so has this, do you feel like, I'm thinking back, I don't even remember that were you talking about, was this something you've always wanted to do?
I know. I'm like, that is so funny. I don't remember that at all.
It just came to me this morning. So random. But I was like, I totally remember that. Yeah.
That is wild. Yeah. I mean, when we were in high school, I was probably working at a boutique. And so that was my first dipping my toe in it.
Okay.
I then was I feel like I was more babysitting a boutique. I didn't have any real responsibility.
Sure.
I was just hanging out. And so I went to college and was like, I don't know if that's what I want to do. And so I double majored in marketing and psychology because I never could decide between my love of Daystar Counseling Ministries and my love of fashion. So now I kind of do both, which is really nice. So truly dream come true. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, so that's what you did in college. And then what's kind of the evolution of how K.McCarthy came to be what it is today?
Yeah. So I worked at Daystar for 2 years out of college.
Okay. And for those that aren't listening, tell us what Daystar is.
Daystar Counseling Ministries is a counseling place in Nashville for kids 2nd through 12th grade. Like if you scooped a group of kids out of any school, parents are divorced, anxiety, just life, somewhere to talk about it. And my sister works there. So I have gotten to grow up there basically from afar and just adore it. And my husband works there now. So I get to stay heavily involved. And I work there in the summers somehow. I just leave my grown-up life and go play at camp and drive boats all summer. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
But I left Daystar and worked at a store in Nashville for a few years, just learning the trade and getting to do more of the back end stuff. And that was where I learned that I loved the entrepreneurial side of it. So left there to get my MBA and tried to figure out how to start a store and realized how unbelievably expensive rent is in Nashville. And food trucks were kind of taken off at that time. And I was like, I wonder if you could add a chandelier and crown molding and make it a boutique. And yeah, exactly. So I Googled it and there were like 12 in the country at the time. And thankfully I was dating someone who was really handy and could help make it happen. So we built the truck and did that for 2 years and then had a blast, traveled a ton. And now that I have 2 kids, I'm very thankful to not be in a truck. And the store exists outside of me when I'm running to pick up. And so it's awesome. I cannot believe I'm 10 years in. It feels like wild. I keep thinking exciting. This must be how fast it goes with kids, which you know better than me. I'm like, whoa.
That's quick too. That's quick too. So you just keep having more. You start over. Just start over. Okay, so you definitely knew. I mean, it feels like you were. I mean, between dipping your toe in and then working at one, being able to be more involved. I mean, you were like, okay, I'm doing this. Were there still like, as with anything else, kind of unexpected things along the way that you were like, oh. This is harder than I thought. Yeah. This is harder than I thought.
Yes. Actually, our first day, we picked up the truck in Orlando. It was a Little Debbie truck. And drove it all the way from Orlando to Nashville, pulled in like off the interstate into Nashville, and the truck died.
Oh.
And I called my mom and sister and we're like, oh my gosh, you're going to have to come pick us up. The truck died. And they were like, there are 20 people at our house to surprise you with champagne to say congratulations. And we were like, okay, welcome to small business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our first.
That was your intro.
Yes. And we have had a lot of bumps. We had one fashion truck party that we were trying to sell spring clothes and it was March and it was 9 a.m. and it was 9 degrees outside. Yeah. People were in gloves like, and I was like, I think I'm ready for a storefront. So I think probably most of the bumps have spurred me on to realizing whatever is the next step, which has been not all of them, but most of them have been learning opportunities.
I love hearing that. I think that is such a good word because a lot of people that maybe they want to start something new or maybe they just have a big idea, whatever that looks like. And a lot of times you can get stuck in the overthinking and the perfectionism or whatever that is. And it feels like from so many stories that I've just heard over the years that those bumps or the challenges or the obstacles that then you had to figure something out that you wouldn't have planned for or maybe wouldn't have even done it if you knew that was going to come up. That's what led you to a better idea or a pivot that just made all the difference. So I love hearing about the challenges and obstacles just because almost anything worth doing is hard. And so just knowing, I think whether it's social media or your friends or your Southern, etiquette that just wants to say, oh, everything's fine. Yeah, we're good. That there's hard parts and other people think it's hard too. So I appreciate.
Yes. Well, And I would say the truck set me up well for then when COVID hit and we had to stay at home. It wasn't unfamiliar to me to pack up the whole store and take it home.
Yeah.
And I took it home and filled my mom's closet, who passed away a few years ago, with all of the clothes. And so I started a thing called 5 o'clock fashion and made a cocktail and showed
So
5
cute.
pieces every day.
So
and
fun.
it was like, just learning to pivot with whatever's happening. And I would say that kind of launched my social media because people started paying attention then. And so, I think every bump is a learning opportunity.
Yeah. And you leaned into it. I was this week, I think you did like a throwback on your social media to one of the 5 o'clock hours. And I had kind of forgotten about that being a part of 2020 or 20 anyway. And that was so cute. So fun. Yeah. I love the uniqueness of that. That was super fun. Okay. So when it is hard or when you're maybe looking at a pivot or a tweak, what do you have something? Okay. I'm going to ask you, do you do any Enneagram stuff? Do you know, do you have what's your Enneagram?
Do you have a guess?
I actually don't. I actually was thinking this morning because we were friends in high school and really haven't seen each other, but I remember everybody called you Smiley. And so that immediately made me think, anyway, I was just remembering your very pleasant disposition, which made me think 9-ish, but all the drive, I would say somewhere in the 3, 6, 9 family.
I was going to say you're in the right triad. Totally. Yes, I'm a 6.
You're a 6. Okay. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
okay.
So need for security doesn't make much sense in the entrepreneurial front. But I think with 6s being phobic and counterphobic, I kind of go back and forth between the two. But I definitely, as a 6, I used to think you went to 1 when it was bad and 1 when it was good, but learned somewhere along the way that it's actually like in stress or in rest. So in stress, which is work is a stressor. So in work, I go more to 3, which I think has helped spurn me on a lot.
In what I do, if I was picking a number to work with, the 3s are they're gonna get it done. They are going to make things happen. So that is I can see that being super helpful. Yeah.
Yes. And I think 3s kick into their gut a lot in terms of how to make decisions. And I think when stressors come or bumps in the road, I lean on my gut a lot.
I think that's good. I think that is
and prayer. Both. Kind of hope that prayer is guiding my gut.
That's honestly, right. That's right. Yeah. I think that's good. So the driver, what's the 6th driver? Is it freedom? Freedom,
like loyalty, need for security.
Yeah, security. It is security. Freedom is 7. Yeah. Okay, so secure. Yeah. Okay, so when you were thinking of like when you wanted to start it, what was it? Did it just look fun, or did it look like a dream, or just I know about this. This seems like something that I would be able to see success in. What made you go, okay, this is what I'm going to plant my feet in?
Oh, I was all over the map. I mean, for grad school, I was like, do I go get my master's in accounting or do I get my MBA? Like, what route am I going? For sure. And then when I worked in that boutique here and had more responsibility, I left there and started doing wardrobe consulting. And I think that's where I was like, okay, I think there's a gap in the market. Like, I think college kids are being served, and I think the really nice stores are targeting my mom. Yeah. But I think that 30 to 60 is very underserved. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of my moment of I think I can do that. And I think because of wardrobe consulting, I know how to buy for people who aren't me, because I was 26 at the time.
And you were getting to hear kind of one-on-one their needs or frustrations with different things. And that's great. I love that.
And I was 26. Testing. So I was a little braver than I probably am now in a great way. I was like, I can do this.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Which now I'm like, wow, I went and bought a 25-foot truck. Like, what was I thinking?
Did it. But it was so fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
I drove it off the lot. I didn't drive it much. I let Aaron drive it mostly, but I drove it off the lot.
That's wise. I think that, Everybody has their strengths.
Yes, that was not mine.
That's okay. Okay, so then how far into having K.McCarthy did you have Henry? Your first?
So Henry is almost 5. So about
Almost
5
5.
years. Isn't that
Okay,
weird?
so what kind of transitioned then when you went from having probably a lot more flexibility and freedom to also being a mommy? What did that do?
I thankfully was already in a storefront instead of
Yes.
the truck.
Yes.
Because the switch to the storefront meant it could exist outside of me, which was one of my I have to get the store settled before I can have kids.
Sure.
So yes, we were in our current storefront, and I had no childcare, applied to all the schools in Nashville and got into none of them. So I did take 8 weeks off, I guess, when I first had him. And then he came for 2 months with me every day. He had a crib and a dressing room. And
oh my gosh.
yeah, we did it. Totally.
Kathleen,
We figured it out together. And
I love that.
well, he buys me earrings in the store sometimes. I'm like, you are a child of retail. He is so funny.
Okay,
but
so what
then
what did that go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, then we have an amazing lady named Freesia who has come into our life. And my mom lived with us at the time and was sick. And so Freesia came to help take care of my mom and Henry. And so really, I could not do what I do without Freesia.
Without Freesia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even think just, which this is a total squirrel moment, but I'm often thinking about how it feels like the last, I don't know, I'm not a historian, last couple hundred years. It's like the first time people aren't living with a lot of family in the home, or we're a lot of just everyone is doing it on their own and expected to. And it's like this badge of honor. I don't have help. I don't even think this is hard. I've got it all, covered at all times. And I'm just a big proponent of saying, actually, Uncle, I'm going to need a helping hand, to do it all.
Yes. So, I need a lot of helping hands.
A lot of
helping hands everywhere I go.
Yes. I would love more helping hands. Yeah.
Yes, totally. Yeah. But I will say something that has been, so when I was starting the truck, I remember my teacher saying, do you want to grow it? Do you want to have multiple storefronts, or what's your plan? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I do want to grow it, but I don't want multiple storefronts. I want it to be a lifestyle business. I want to be able to pick up my kids from school at the end of the day. That is something also that's really important to me. So it's been so nice as the store has grown, because I do have more people working in the store. And so I can pick Henry up every day from school. And even a lot of afternoons I'm going home and working on my computer beside him, but I get to be with him.
But you're with him.
So I am unbelievably grateful for lots of helping hands, but also flexibility in being a small business owner, that I get to be with my kids still a lot, which I feel like is so true of you. I feel like that's so much what you talk about with what you do is.
I love that part.
It's pros and
absolutely
cons, for sure,
it's still working, and sometimes you can't get to this practice, or you can't get to this. There's totally or you're at home and you're working and they're saying, hey, can you take me here? You're like, I'm actually working. Yes, I know it looks like I'm playing on my phone or on my laptop. That's right. And all the things. But I love the idea that you, in a lot of, if in the entrepreneurial space, you can kind of create a job that works with your lifestyle. And then you get to choose, am I going to scale it more, or am I going to what's that going to look like? And you get to make those choices. And sometimes I actually really love the freedom. I want margin in my day. My sister says, I don't say no because I'm busy. I say no because I don't want to be busy. And I love that.
That's awesome.
I love knowing there's some margin. Yeah.
I need to learn to live by that.
That's a good word. That's a good word.
Totally.
Okay. So with the now you have 2 littles, and you're still doing, obviously you're doing all the things. Do you have any kind of things that have worked well for creating that balance, or for giving you some freedom, or things that you're like, this works? Maybe it's, I'm watching the show, I'm snuggled up, but I do have my laptop. What is it for you? Do you have anything that you're like, this has helped me? Freesia, number one.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. We went through a season last year where Freesia's son was sick, and so she was gone. And so I think it made me that much more. So Whit started going to work with me and trying to take naps and doing all. So I really lived that life with both kids. But yes, it made me so much more aware of just how I can't do it all.
Yeah.
And I need a lot of help. And so trying to lean in on that. And I think part of that is we as moms, we as women, I don't know which is but we feel guilty a lot of times, period. But a lot of times when we are not working, we feel guilty. And when we're not being a mom, we feel guilty.
Right.
And so we end up just feeling guilty
all the time.
And so I'm trying to learn to be. Caroline has always said that I am where my feet are planted.
That's so sweet.
Which I think that is something I have been good at until social media makes it so much harder because you also are there all the time. And so I am.
There's always something you could be doing.
That's
what's hard.
Yeah. I would not say it is a learned skill, but I am trying to learn how to turn it off and set my phone down and be present where I am, whether that's in the store or with my kids. Both. But
no, I appreciate it. I think that's a good word. And I think it's just super relatable. So definitely appreciate that. What about, okay, so that's kind of allowing you to be present wherever you are. And so that may actually even funnel into, but like, do you have anything that's worked for you as far as productivity that's helped you to be either just more productive or more present when you're at work? Because like you said, sometimes you can have guilt. Oh, I should be, it's such a, I don't know that there's a balance, but some kind of harmony or something where you're present with your people and you're doing a good job and stewarding well what you've kind of, you have with your company and your business. Do you have anything that's kind of helped you with that balance with work or productivity, anything like that? You're like, this has helped me.
Yeah. I'm like such a broken
I kind of went all over the place with that question. So if you can just read between, whatever you say is great. Whatever you say is great.
Yes. No, I was thinking I'm such a broken record when you said of calling uncle. I feel like that's what I'm doing all the time. This year I realized that I really, we have a mutual friend who used to work with me who left town, which went back to Rebecca, which I'm so happy for you. Very sad for me. But her leaving made me realize, okay, I really have hit the point where I need someone full-time in the store, which I hadn't hired anyone full-time in 10 years.
Wow.
So that has been a huge switch to having someone there full-time. And I think.
Oh, so you did. You have hired someone.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, she started in August, so it's very new.
Very new.
But awesome.
So glad.
And she is, I think it has allowed me to be like, okay, I just need to focus on what I do that makes the most impact instead of doing all the because I could spend my whole day entering inventory into the computer or doing back end stuff or seaming clothes, which all have to happen. But like me taking videos on Instagram and doing that kind of stuff or helping customers shop in the store is like the most important thing that I do. And so that is really where I need to be spending my time. So I think it's learning to delegate, like to let go of things that I'm like, I know I can do that, but I just don't have enough hours in the day. So delegating.
Well, and I think it's that realization that, I mean, like you're talking about your highest point of contribution and you're able, those are probably where you're going to make the most dollars, and you could pay someone a lot less money for the amount of time, like what it's going to bring in for you to put that out there. So I think that's wise. And I also think when it's your baby, you're like, but I want to do it like this and I can do it. That's the other thing, especially when it's saying you can do to have that's hard to, I'm like, well, I should be able to do that.
Yes. And I think some days it feels like, oh, I just went into the store and took pictures and talked to people. Like it doesn't scratch my efficiency itch of like getting things accomplished.
Yes.
And, so it's a new balancing act, but I'm thankful for, I mean, it's growth totally in K.McCarthy, which is great.
Yes.
It's just different.
A few weeks ago, I was doing a podcast episode on just shoulding ourselves to death. I should be doing this. I should be in all the mom guilt, and kind of talked about time blocking and all that. And a big part of that was just, there are so many hours in the day. And if you did just go task, 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 task all day, could you accomplish a lot of things? Probably. But I feel like when we're either making our to-do list or planning out all of our shoulding, we forget we're also human. And so like you do need to sit down, or to have, if Aaron calls you and what needs to have a conversation, or something comes up and like not being able to just line item yourself to death where you don't have time to just human and enjoy your life. And so, but on paper, I definitely can relate to the, well, I could be doing that. And okay, I can do that too. Yeah. Give me that. I can do that. I can do that. And then,
yes.
And then I've run myself down.
Common. Yes, totally. We have a friend in common who is really good at tasks and to-do lists and all that. And this year she has been like, I'm going to do lunches. Like, I know that sounds so silly, but I've realized I just accomplish all day long and don't enter into a relationship.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm going to start going to lunch with people. Like,
I think that's
so
great. Yeah.
Because that's something we can end up feeling guilty about. Like,
totally.
I don't want to say I had a fun lunch today, but
yeah,
but that's so important.
It is so important. I mean, I remember a couple years ago, I was like, I love to read, and I have not read like a fiction book. And I always think I need to be learning something, or, improving a skill, or something that needs to be teaching me something else so that I could add some more tasks on there. Like, I just want to read like a fiction book. So the lunches, I love that. I absolutely love, I love that. Okay. Tell me.
I so remember that you love to read, and I look like I love to read. But I don't. But my sister, Sissy Goff, is an author whose books I do love.
Yes.
But I look much smarter than I am sitting here in front of all her books in her studio.
I love it. If you're listening to the podcast, we're also on video right now, which you can always watch it on YouTube, and you can see the beautiful setup behind Kathleen, where, yes, that's like, what's that line? It's like, I have many mahogany books, or whatever that movie is, or they're talking about that.
Yes, totally.
So funny. Okay, tell me your favorite part of your job. What do you just like? Or is there something that you enjoy that you're like, I love when I get to do this, or when this is on my task, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do that first.
The people.
The people,
sure.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably what has combined my can't decide between counseling and fashion forever. Is that I love the people. And so I feel like so much of what I get to do at the store is be with people and talk to people and hear about their lives and their kids and their dogs. And I feel like the people who shop with me are more friends than anything.
I love it. Yeah. And I mean, people say retail therapy. There's something about going in, and so you're doing it just in a different way.
For sure. And I feel kind of like a hairdresser. Like I'm like a sitting, sure. Like people walk in and whatever's happening is what comes out
still
of their
going
mouth.
on. Absolutely.
Totally.
Or they're on the phone or I'm sure you do. Okay. If you were thinking, someone listening to this and they are thinking, okay, I love that she's talking about a dream that she had and she made it come to be, or the lifestyle that you've been able to kind of make decisions based on, this is what I want my life to look at. And they kind of have a dream. If you had an entrepreneur with a budding dream, would you have any kind of just word of wisdom or encouragement that you would want to send their way on what they're about to take on? Or if they should. I
would say do it. I would say take the next step.
I love it.
Which feels like Al-Anon, is that what it's called? Take the next right step.
The next right thing. Yeah.
Yes, totally. I think it's so easy to get in 10 years, I want to have a clothing store and I want it to be where people shop and big, big dreams, which is also important. But I think to do the first step, it might be really expensive to start a store and pay rent in Nashville. And how do you do all of that? And maybe I could start with a truck. Maybe I could do whatever the first piece is or
a social media boutique or something.
Totally. Yes. That makes it so much more doable now.
Yeah.
That isn't totally breaking your bank to figure out if it works or not and works for you or not. Or I'm just there's so many things with the truck that it's like, I'm so thankful to be in a store, but I'm so thankful I had the truck first to like figure out some kinks and build cash up and build customers up and get my name out there before we opened a brick and mortar. So, and same thing of like, I graduated college and kids who I'm talking to who are in college, I'm like, you don't have to pick what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Like, pick a job, and that job will lead to another job.
That's right.
Because my time at Daystar, I did development, and a ton of those people who I worked with in development now shop with me. And you wouldn't think that Christian counseling and owning a boutique are like combined, but they totally are if you like kind of follow what God puts on your heart and what's next in front of you, and don't get caught up in the like, but will it work? And how far do I have to get? And I don't know. So
I think
do the next right thing.
Yes. I think that is a good word. Matter of fact, our last boss babe that we had on here last week, Katie Reese, her kind of last thoughts were surrounding that too. Then I think that's just, so what can you do today? What can you do the next year? I think that's so wise. Well, Kathleen, I think you are a delight, and I'm just so proud of you. Where can people find you if they're not in the Nashville area, but they wanted, especially all the fun things? If you're listening to this right now, I think she even has some special sales and things going on this week for their 10-year anniversary. Where can they find you?
You're so sweet. Yes, go to KMcCarthyNashville.com or check us out on Instagram. Also, K.McCarthy Nashville, KMCCARTHY Nashville.
Perfect. I will put all that in the show notes so they can easily find you and all her beautiful, beautiful pieces. She has it all. So I can't wait for y'all to see.
You are
K.
the
McCarthy.
best, and you are doing what you were made for. It is
That's
incredible.
So
I love getting to watch you. It's the sweetest.
That's so sweet. Thank you, Kathleen.
It's so fun that when you move away for all the bad parts of social media,
That's right.
It's so fun that we get to still feel connected. And
that's so true.
Yeah,
I get
to feel proud of you from afar.
Oh my word. Well, that is the nicest. Well, thank you for being on today. I'm cheering you on from afar for sure. I'll be shopping soon.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Bye. You just finished another episode of Wide Open Spaces. My hope is always that you felt encouraged as you listened. And if you found this valuable, will you share it with a friend today? Tag me if you do. I always love seeing your favorite takeaways. I'm so glad you were here, and I'll see you back next week. Same time, same place. See you then.